Greetings everyone, my name is Greg. In this video I am going to talk about rejecting Jesus. And before I get into any of what I'm going to be covering, I want to explain the threat that Christians will try and use regarding Jesus. This is used both to attract people to Christianity as well as to try and scare them from walking away. And that is this notion of hell. Now, what I am going to be pointing out, you can use any part of this or all of it as a valid, irrefutable reason to reject Jesus, Christianity, because, as I have said, if the God of the Bible would be true, Christianity is false, because the God of the Bible calls the Jews his chosen people. If the God of the Bible is not true, Christianity is false. Either way, Christianity is false. But this idea of like being Jewish won't save you from hell, which your church, good works, it's all bullshit. And I'm going to explain to you why it is bullshit. Thing is, this notion of hell, the word hell in the Hebrew is Sheol. And I will have in the description section below the eSword, a link to download the eSword Bible. But I just want to show you this in the Old Testament because I don't want you to take my word for anything. And that is, okay. In order to see the Hebrew numbers, you have to go to KJV Plus and then basically find that word again. There it is. And it is Sheol. Sheol. And it means simply the world of the dead, grave, hell, pit. Sheol is the grave. There was no the idea of a place of burning goes to Jeremiah 32 verse 35, which is the valley of the son of Hinnom. And that is where people were supposedly burning children in fire to Moloch. And supposedly this came from the God of which I commanded them not, neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. This is problematic for Christians with the idea of hell and the idea that the God doesn't change. Because if burning children in fire never came into his mind, then it couldn't have been a place that he sent this devil or anything of that nature. It becomes extremely problematic. The truth of the matter is, there are ways that a person in the Old Testament could be forgiven without going through the blood sacrifice shit. But where I'm going to go next, I'll get into the aspect of forgiveness, but I want to first rip the legs off of Jesus because, well, it's kind of what I do. Christianity is based on a misunderstanding of Isaiah 7:14. More specifically, this part of Isaiah 7:14. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son. When it's read in English, we have in English basically one definition for virgin. It is a sexual virgin. However, in Hebrew, there are two different words that get translated as virgin. And this one in Isaiah 7:14 is the Hebrew word Alma, and it is a young woman. A young woman giving birth. Let me jump back and do this, bearing in mind the idea of a young woman giving birth is not a miracle. Because if you would read that in English, behold, a young woman shall conceive and bear a son, okay, so what? That's not a miracle. That happens every day. It's extremely commonplace. But what's also interesting to note is the word son. It is the Hebrew word ben. A follower is a zerah. This is something that I didn't know this until my interviews with Mark Powers. And this is important because a ben is a biological child. Someone that is your follower can never be your ben because the ben is a biological child. The thing is, there is no word in the Hebrew for a woman impregnated by some holy Casper. That's simply not part of it. Because when you go to do any type of search, you would come to the binoculars. And when you click on that and type in the word virgin, and then hit the binoculars in the corner, it will bring up other uses. And I can simply go to, because I know from having done this before, that this one is the Hebrew word Bethulah. And that is a sexual virgin. The way Mark Powers had explained this to me, and it really clarifies it very well. An Alma is a young woman. It has nothing to do with sexual experience, only age. The Bethulah is a sexual virgin. It does not matter what the age of the woman is. If they have not had sex, they would be this Hebrew word, not an Alma. An Alma could literally be a whore as long as she is a young woman. So the whole basis of Jesus being impregnated by some holy Casper, as if that is what makes him a god, It's ludicrous. But also, the idea of Jesus being God goes completely against Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man. Bang. That excludes Jesus. Right there in Numbers 23:19. Makes Jesus or any other human being claiming to be God or claiming to be the Son of God to being a fraud. God is not a man or son of a man. And the idea of a son of God is simply what would be termed an angel. It does not mean anything miraculous. There is no idea of a God impregnating a human. It's a ludicrous idea that Christians have tried clinging on to different other religions that have half man, half God concepts and trying to make their version different but close enough that it can pretty much ride the coattails of it. But as far as the Old Testament, it doesn't work. And regarding this idea of sin and forgiveness, where I'm going to go is somewhere Christians like to quote the first 7 words, but then they stop. And that is Ezekiel 18:20. They only quote, crap. They only quote right there, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. That's where they stop in Ezekiel 18:20, as if that's all that's there. But what gets absolutely critical is, if you read the rest of that, this is why Christians don't. It will rip the legs off of the original sin idea. Because what it says after that, the Son shall not bear the iniquity of the Father, neither shall the Father bear the iniquity of the Son. Oops! So much for the sins of Adam being passed on to everyone. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Next verse. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, keep my statutes, and do what is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. And we can even go so far as to look up the Hebrew word, because I know Christians like to play games with what does the word die mean. And the word die means to die. Literally or figuratively, causatively to kill, dead. It is the same thing that was mentioned in Genesis chapter 2. I think it was 17. Yes. And that is the same Hebrew word that where the God said, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Christians want to play games with what does a word mean. Die here literally means to die. To be put to death, for your life to end. There is nothing spiritual about this. But the idea of a Jesus, or that what you believe would somehow magically change things, if that would be the case, why would the God have not mentioned that in here? When it was, but if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, keep my statutes, do what is lawful and right, here shall surely live, he shall not die. Not one mention of what the person believes or thinks. Nothing. Not one mention of Jesus. Not one mention of anything of that nature. This whole notion and the idea of believing in Jesus, where I'm going to go next is basically this will show that there is a major conflict between Jesus and God. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give God a ransom for him. But if you do a search on the word ransom and look at it, there's two places that it comes up in the New Testament where Jesus said, even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Matthew 20, verse 28. That is in direct conflict with Psalms 49:7, where the God said, basically, no one can do this. Because what Jesus is trying to do is to give people an easy out, an easy excuse. That you don't have to be accountable for what you do. All you have to say is that you believe he existed and died for you, and that washes away what you did. Think of how absolutely immoral and how it is giving a great big fuck you to everyone your actions hurt. Like a wife beater could beat up his wife and then say, oh, Jesus, forgive me, and that takes it all away. If our courts operated this way, our legal system would be a joke. That all somebody has to do when they go to court is profess to believe Jesus died for them, and that washes away what they did? That's absurd. And the idea that it would mean some kind of afterlife, why, if it wouldn't matter in physical life, here and now, if it wouldn't be justice here and now for our world, for a person to be able to get away with a crime by claiming to believe Jesus died, why would it be any type of justice in an afterlife? I don't get how people can even try to go there. You can't pay for, to use the term, a sin before you do it. It's not like you're buying your sins at Walmart or paying for them at Walmart before you do them. If you know something is wrong before you do it, the question is, why do you do it? And to be, well, I paid for it, or Jesus paid for it, so I might as well do it, that is immoral as hell. It is also showing that you don't give a damn about anyone but yourself. And that's really what Christianity comes down to. It is a great big, fuck you, I do what I want. But all of this, there is so much as to why Jesus is nothing. But the biggest thing that rips the legs out from under Jesus is understanding what the word virgin in Hebrew, especially Isaiah 7:14 really means. And I'll wrap this up with a refresh on, if I keep from hitting the wrong damn thing. Okay. I want to just show you one more time Isaiah 7:14, the behold a virgin shall conceive. It is the Hebrew word Alma. A young woman giving birth is not a miracle. So, going by that, the idea of some holy Casper being the father, that is simply not possible. There's also, when I had talked to Mark Powers about this, he had asked, what is the Hebrew word for a male virgin? And I said, I don't know. He's like, that's okay. There isn't one. Because how would you tell? How would you know? And it's a valid point. So there isn't a Hebrew word for a male virgin. But a female young woman is an Alma. And that, anytime somebody, you hear, especially around Christmas, this, behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son. I want everybody that hears this to, from now on, think of, instead of a virgin, a young woman shall conceive and bear a son. Whoop-de-doo. That happens every day. It doesn't mean the child is divine. It just means a young woman got pregnant and had a child. It doesn't mean a thing. And that is where Christianity should die. Because it is an immoral belief system that is more about giving an excuse for the perpetrator of evil or wicked or destructive or negative behaviors, and basically giving a great big fuck you to those that they hurt. Because your belief that somebody died does not change 1 second of what you have done. It can't. As I have also said, the raped woman remains raped. The molested child remains molested. The murdered person remains dead. Why should the one that perpetrated that or caused it be able to act like they're washed clean when the one that they raped or murdered remains raped or murdered? It is so lopsided. It is so out of balance. The only moral position is to reject Jesus. Talk to you later, people.